Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Are you struggling right now? You have lots of company. Today, we're going to talk about real help without platitudes and false hopes. This is the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Patricia, and I'm here with my husband, Jason. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, Jason. Everyone is struggling right now. What can we do? What can they do?
The question brings up the biggest misconception that there is about struggles and difficulties.
What do you mean by that?
Struggles and difficulties at their root are energies. Let me give an example.
Okay.
Stress, cabin fever, money stress, kids or spouses driving you nuts, even illness and disease. At the root, they're energies. And this is what people struggle to understand. We use the term energies to describe intangibles.
Meaning things you can't touch.
Yes, things that can't be measured or seen. For example, emotions, fear, anxiety, love.
Wait a minute. I've got a pound of anger and a pound of love. Does that make a difference?
Well, no one ever says it that way. And that's the problem, okay? You know, they can't be measured. They're intangible. And we think that emotions are like moods. So if you're angry at your spouse and then you have a glass of wine and then you're not angry anymore, then it's gone away. No, not at all.
It just reconfigured, didn't it?
It just went. It's like what I used to do when I was in college to clean the house. I would throw all my stuff into the closet and close the door, and then I'd say, "Oh, the house is clean.
All done."
Yes, all done. Now, Patricia says I still think of it that way, but it doesn't work. And of course, the minute you open that closet, things kind of roar out. And it's the same thing with emotions, or intangibles like feeling unworthy. That's not really I guess that is an emotion, isn't it?
It is unworthiness. Absolutely.
Success and luck are intangibles,
right?
But they're also energies. So when you understand that they're energies, first of all, that they build up, they don't go away when you don't feel them anymore, and here's the other big thing, okay? And this is why we have the ecosystem approach, is the idea that you can remove or clear or process those negative feelings and get rid of them. So, for example, if you have cabin fever right now because you're in the pandemic and we're isolating and all those things, and you run out the front door and yell and scream and go to something that you've done in the past that's been fun. You think that if you have cabin fever, which is an intangible, it's an energy, and that if you go someplace that you won't have cabin fever anymore. That's not necessarily true. Cabin fever is an energy. It may be frustration, feeling trapped, feeling
alone,
lonely, having self-pity, all those things. Those are the emotions that you need to remove first, and it's one of the biggest misconceptions. So when you're talking about struggles and difficulties, and you're going out in the web, and you're getting all this advice to say, well, just do this or just do this. Those actions don't necessarily get rid of the energy, and that's why you still have the struggles and difficulties.
Okay.
You know, we've always, what we've been doing for the last 20 years, both Patricia and I, we've been working with clients, lots and lots of clients over those 20-year period. And we always eventually get to someone's emotional story. And that emotional...
Because most people don't want to talk or tell or even connect with their emotional story.
And the emotional story is the root.
Right.
Is a buildup of the negative energies that they've had all their life that have never go away.
Right.
And so when we start touching that emotional story, we see the profound change. Right. And we've had clients, 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
That's correct.
And
we have.
And so we get to know their emotional story, and we help them with that, and we see the profound changes that happen over that time. Here's the thing. Beware of the experts, the people telling you how to feel. That's programming. So if you go on the web and say, well, if you're struggling with this, you should think this way, or you should feel this, or you should do this. That's all programming.
Well, an example would be if the experts say, you say, I'm feeling lonely, and the experts say, well, call a friend. Well, calling a friend's not a bad idea, not at all. But you still didn't remove the loneliness.
And that's an energy.
And that's an energy. As soon as you put down that phone, what happens? Within a very, I'm going to say often, short period of time, you're lonely again.
Right. So we say to people, don't tell yourself how to feel. Ask yourself, how do I really feel? And then clear
it.
Yes. It's so simple.
Yes.
Saturday was World Mental Health Day. And there was an article in USA Today stating that having hope is the biggest predictor of emotional or mental health. And then they go on to tell the benefits of having hope in your life, and that how you can. They don't really ever tell you how to have hope.
Oh,
and that's the key. That's the trap. Okay, and that's what we're trying to say today, is that they don't tell you how to have hope, and the presumption is that you'll just force yourself to have hope, which is programming, and it doesn't work that way. The other thing that I see is that, programming yourself where you force yourself to feel a certain way produces a form of hypocrisy.
Sure.
And people leak their true feelings. Christian, think about all the people that we've worked with over the years who get divorced.
Sure.
Because their spouses are saying, well, you're telling me that you're really this way. And their spouse is saying, well, no, you're not really that way.
Right.
Because they're seeing all those negative emotions that are leaking out.
Right.
And saying, hey, you're not, you think you're this way, but you're really this way.
Well, and I just want to put in one more thing in particular about the spouses and so forth. The people get into relationships and they have expectations about how that their partner is. And we all change all of the time due to this circumstance or this happening or all kinds of things that happen. The world turns and we change. The problem is we get stuck in the expectations, which is an intangible about the other person.
Well, and those expectations are energies that can be cleared.
Yes.
Also, getting back to the hypocrisy, the whole world is this way. We're taught to act. We're taught to say, act this way, or feel this way, or look like this. But we never say, well, how do you really feel? And then just clear that away so you can see how you really are.
I just remembered this. I'd totally forgotten about this. I remember going to kindergarten and I was really excited. I have an older sister and she's a year older than I am. And she would come home from kindergarten and talk about how great school was and all the people and the friends, and she loved her teacher and so forth, so forth. And my sister is one of those that everybody loves her because she's so nice. Well, that's great. That's not me. I am so not her. and I remember my kindergarten teacher saying to me, Patty, you surprise me. You're nothing like your sister, Virginia. Oh, I'm not supposed to say her name. Sorry. You're nothing like her. Well, you know what? You're right. I am nothing like her. And I remember acting out just to watch the teacher squirm because she didn't want to have to call me on my stuff.
So if you're struggling with other people's expectations or having difficulty with other people's expectations, know that they're an energy.
Right.
And first you have to clear yourself. You know, if I was clearing little kindergarten Patty, I'd say, I'd clear her of that part of wanting to be
the rebel.
Yes, the rebel, or you can't make me.
Yeah. Oh, and wait a minute. With hands on hips, of course. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
In reality, emotions are energies that build up and don't go away. Our struggles and difficulties are rooted in the buildup of those negative energies and emotions. And programming yourself to feel a certain way produces leakage of your true feelings, which is hypocrisy. And the ecosystem approach teaches you to change from programming to get an ability to really overcome the struggles.
Okay. In the next segment, we're going to talk about how your personal story is always connected to your struggles and difficulties. You've never heard this perspective before. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Tales from the Merworld with Amira Bath, exploring the mysteries of Atlantis and Lemuria, airing every second and fourth Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Tales from the Merworld Radio is a blend of mythology, theology, and ancient history, and Amira's own soul channelings. Are you ready to explore and validate the possibility that we are much more than our Earth bodies? Amira Bath's Tales from the Merworld Radio holds safe space discussions for remembrances and memories of topics like multidimensional existences and simultaneous lives. Together, we will be raising our vibrations through stimulating conversations and the opening and releasing of the remembrance of our soul purposes for this incarnation. Join me, Amira Bath, for Tales of the Merworld Radio.
Learn how to lead a happier life on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles. How to lose to gain it all. Join Brittany every second and fourth Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Listen as coach and healer Brittany Miles shares stories that teach you about surrender. For more information about Brittany, milestogocoaching.com.
Did you know that when we talk about the Earth's ecosystems, the most important ecosystem has been left out? We created the ecosystem approach to recapture human potential.
Find us at theecosystemapproach.org.
Join us every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
How many times do you find yourself saying, "It was nothing," or "just doing my job," when really you knocked it out of the park? How did you get like this? Next time someone tells you "great job," you'll know how to accept it and not deflect it by listening to Courage to Be Seen Radio with host Sherry Clark. Sherry Clark is an experienced global engineering leader, coach, and mentor. From her experiences one-on-one coaching to corporate consulting and executive coaching, Sherry has learned many women need at least 3 things to discover and face success. Learn about the ACES program, how to survive male-dominated fields with grace and authenticity, and reach the top without ever once giving up on who you are. Courage to Be Seen host Sherry Clark explores the awesome power of your entire self and how far you can go by being more you. Check out her website, CourageToBeSeen.com. You have the courage to be seen. See you later.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. In this segment, we're going to talk about your personal story and how it is always connected to your struggles and difficulties. You've never heard this perspective before. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what is commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Jason, what do you mean by your personal story? And really, what does it have to do with, struggles and difficulties?
Everyone's struggles and difficulties are different.
Okay.
Right now with the pandemic, a lot of people have similar problems, but the solutions are unique based on their personal emotional story. So let me give an example. Cabin fever is a great example.
Mm-hmm.
If 10 people have cabin fever and they all go on the web and Google cabin fever, they're going to get recipes. But those recipes have nothing to do with their emotional story.
Meaning formulas on what to do about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
For example, someone's emotional story, maybe their parents made them stay in their bedroom when they were bad.
Okay.
And they associated being locked up with punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone was not allowed to go outside all the time because they were sickly. It's a different emotional story. So if you're having cabin fever, you're gonna be clearing different things because your personal story is different.
Right.
Right. Here's the thing that people don't understand. Your personal story contains a lot of negative energies that have built up over the years, and they don't go away when you forget about them. These energies build up. And that's probably the most important point for this show today.
True. I'll agree with that.
People don't see their energies building up. They say, "Oh my gosh, well, I don't have cabin fever. I had cabin fever yesterday, but it doesn't feel like I'm trapped today, so I don't have it anymore." Well, no, that energy's still there. It's just, you did what I did when I was in college, which I just put it in the closet someplace, and you can't see it, but it's still there.
Right.
And
right.
The things that you struggle or create difficulties are related to negative energies in your past, and they build up and they continue to act upon you years and years and years later.
And people don't even realize how they connect from today to their past.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Patricia and I think it's kind of ironic. We know each other's personal story really well.
Right.
And when we struggle.
And we all struggle. Everybody struggles.
And we struggle, just
by all
like
means.
Everybody else.
Yes.
We think of it in terms of our own personal story.
Right.
So when we're helping each other out, or we're just saying, okay, how come I'm feeling this way right now?
Yeah.
We refer to our personal story.
Correct.
And that's why we're so effective. That's why people come to us.
Right.
That's why people say, oh, we need to talk to Jason or Patricia because we get that it's their personal story. We go and help them clear something that's related to what they're struggling with now that goes back to their story.
Exactly.
And they feel better. And we've been doing that for 20 years. We know it works.
Well, I have a story about that. And I talk about my stepfather and I still love my stepfather. He's been gone for a few years. And he and my mother was in her way a stay-at-home mom most of the time. And so my mother was an amazing cook. And one night she surprised him with, she was cooking a leg of lamb. And when he came in the door, he was always hungry when he came in the door, and dinner was like 5 minutes away most of the time. He smelled the leg of lamb and he hit the roof. And I mean, by the way, he could rage, not when he wanted to, but when he didn't want to, he could really rage. And we all just sat there and it's like, oh my gosh, I was really looking forward to eating this leg of lamb. And come to find out that a leg of lamb to him was what he never called it lamb. He always called it that dirty mutton. And he grew up in a very poor household during the Depression. And the best cut of meat that they could either buy or were given was what was known as mutton, which was the worst cut of lamb that there is. And mutton is usually an old sheep, meaning, it lived way past its years. The point I'm getting at is that the smell of this mutton brought back for my stepfather that he was poor, that he wasn't worth anything, and that it didn't matter how long he'd lived without the mutton, that when that mutton came back into his life, there was that memory of just feeling very, very unworthy, and especially as a little boy.
That's a great example. But I'm curious, and we were talking about this the other day when we were preparing for this show. How did you find out about that, about his view about mutton?
Well, as this whole thing was going on he was saying things that were like kind of these clues. And always, even as a kid, I could pick out things that people were saying that I knew connected to something that wasn't, so to speak, right on the table.
So did he ever talk about it in just
yes.
to sit everybody down and say this?
No, I talked to him about it years later. I asked him about it, and it was I could tell it was painful for him to talk about.
So let's take that example and pull it apart just a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I can imagine your mom, and I know your mom's emotional story too. She did this to please him.
She did. Oh, and it was such a slap.
He rejected it.
He did.
My gosh! Talk about that's the beginning of how couples get dead or argue or whatever when they don't know each other's emotional story
and understand
and
can't
understand
do anything.
it and can't talk about it.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Here's what's neat about the ecosystem approach. It's as you start to do it with yourself, then you become more comfortable talking about your emotions because you're clearing them all the time.
Exactly. And when you start clearing, what happens? Here's one of the greatest things. I don't know that we've ever actually talked about this, but here's one of the greatest things. When you start clearing, and I'll use my stepfather as the example, as he and I started talking about it years later, and he could see that I was not going to judge him for being the unworthy little boy, the thing that was the most amazing is the spark, or what we call the negative spark in somebody's memory. It started to go away. And with clearing, the most amazing thing happens is that it will go away and you don't even have to feel the feelings. It's really and we didn't know that this was going to be part of the clearing, but it is. It's amazing.
In traditional psychology, they say you have to talk about your feelings, and we don't really say that ever. I mean,
No.
we clear it, and a lot of times when
most people just want to talk about.
Yes, they want to talk about it. After, in fact, after you clear it, they want to talk about it. But I can imagine what that did to their relationship.
Yeah. Oh, it was horrible.
I think part of the reason that we have such a good relationship is not just because we clear together, but because we know each other's emotional story. And so, when I do something that never happens, which is when I get angry or have struggles or diffdifficulties, Patricia thinks about it in terms of my emotional story and vice versa.
I do.
And it helps from taking it personally. It helps to see people, and then we can talk about it. We have another story too that I think is a good one. I want to get to that.
The singer.
Yes.
Okay. I have this client, and I asked her if I could talk about this. She was telling me that she was really struggling singing. She's, by the way, she is. To sing, yes. But she went to school 4 years, has a degree in music, and she is an unbelievable musician.
She has an amazing voice. She's an amazing singer.
She does it. Yeah, exactly. But she was telling me she's really having a hard time singing. And so I was asking her why. And she was telling me that her mother used to tease her and even use it against her when she would be singing around the house. She'd tell her she couldn't sing, she wasn't worth anything, and by the way, this mother was not the nicest person, and which is, I'm sorry to hear that. So we started clearing yesterday. I believe I was working with her, and it was wonderful. I could even feel the changes that were happening because we cleared the drama, trauma, and even the chaos that was connected to her voice.
The point is that this was a struggle or a difficulty now, but
it was also lifetime.
It's been a lifetime, but maybe a year ago it might not have been in the same category.
Right.
And as you work on, as you clear on a regular basis, constantly, consistently, and specifically, like we suggest people do,
right,
then your emotional story is something that's always in play, and different aspects of it come up, and different versions of it come up, and different things are focused on,
exactly,
versus other things, and that's how it works. So when you have a difficulty today, chances are it's a time. It's your body is saying, "Hey, it's time to work with this right now."
Okay, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Just doing clearing helps you uncover your personal story. It can take a lifetime.
And by the way, it's a fun journey.
It is a fun journey. Your personal story comes from the buildup of negative emotions over a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Clearing helps you remove the negative energies directly versus taking actions to try and remove them. And the ecosystem approach teaches everyone to clear first before you seek to program it. It is so much better that way.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about knowing what to clear when you're struggling and having difficulties. This is the part that trips most people up, meaning what to clear. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out at drpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Message Delivery by Lisa Ann. You can't make this stuff up. Tune in every first and third Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. Message Delivery is an inspirational show about the journey to enlightenment and spirituality. For more information or your own personal message delivery, visit angelmessages2u.com. That's Angel Messages, the number 2, the letter U.com.
We remember a time when you could simply form a thought and it would manifest. The harmony was forgotten, but it is returning now. The Power of Inspiration and Awakening Radio with Julia Griffin on TransformationTalkRadio.com each second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We'll take you on adventures through the heart and spirit exploring who we once were. This intuitive healer studied under the guidance of wolves, learning from their wisdom to master a higher frequency for a new state of mind. Visit OneTrueSelf.com.
Tired of not losing the weight? You need a healthy solution for weight loss that protects your muscle mass as the fat burns away naturally. Holistic Medical Center has the healthy option for your weight loss concerns. Lose 1 to 3 pounds per day in 21 days, naturally, under our physician supervision. Call Holistic Medical Center 425-451-0404 or on the web, drdarvish.com, drdarvish.com.
Have you ever wondered how you might feel differently if the books were full of her instead of him? What if your history lesson was filled with powerful women leaders and rulers? As a woman, would you feel more empowered? As a man, would you see women differently? I'm Megan Edge. I'd love for you to join me on my radio show, Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease. with my co-host, Dr. Pat, on Transformation Talk Radio. I hope to see you there.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about knowing what to clear when you're struggling and having difficulties. This is the part that trips most people up. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you're commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. So I get that our struggles and difficulties are energies, but Jason, where do I start and how do I know what to clear?
You learn how to, because as you see your emotions as energy, you get a lot of practice naming and seeing all your emotions. And as you start to do the ecosystem approach, you uncover more and more of your emotions and you become more aware of those emotions.
Well, wait a minute. I don't wanna.
Most people don't.
Okay. And so the first thing I would clear would be what? Resistance.
But here's the quickest way.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this more in the next segment. But if you go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our free section, including the weekly clearing list, every week we have a newsletter and a list of clearings that always include the generic things to clear. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you those generic things get you to 75, 80% of all the things that are out there. Now, we say it's important to clear specifically. And as you clear those things over and over again, some of those things you'll just naturally start to say, oh, well, I've been clearing fear. And I see that I'm afraid of this, this, and this specifically.
Exactly.
And that specific thing that you're afraid of, then you put that in the clearing statement.
Exactly.
So here's the obvious thing, okay?
Okay.
If you're struggling with cabin fever, you put what you're struggling with in the clearing statement. So, and to eliminate my cabin fever.
Mm-hmm.
Just gather up cabin fever, even though you don't know what exactly the emotion is.
Sure.
It could be feeling trapped. It could be feeling
overwhelmed.
Anxious,
exactly.
Nervous. Yes. Stressed. Right. But start with cabin fever.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of examples. Anger or frustration with a spouse, fear of something that's going to happen. Put that in the clearing statement. If you're angry at your spouse for something, and to eliminate being angry because they're so stubborn, and then take a breath. Fear that something's going to happen. I'm afraid, and to eliminate my fear of not having enough money to pay the rent, of not having enough food.
Boy, that's a big one out there these days.
Hopelessness about something in the future. And to eliminate my hopelessness that I'm not going to get the job that I want, or I'm going to be laid off, or the feeling that things are just going crazy and it's going to affect me.
Yeah.
Find the emotion in the struggle.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that's important about finding the emotion and the struggle is this. It's that it helps you connect with you in a way that we weren't taught to do.
Because of programming.
People
say, instead of programming says, just do it. It doesn't matter how you feel. So you never ask yourself, well, how do I feel? You're always saying, I'm just going to achieve this objective, or I'm going to drive myself to do this, or I'm going to act like this. You never say, well, how do I feel?
Right.
And that's the huge difference between, when we say we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed, that's what we're saying.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
An ecosystem, you nurture it, you take away the toxins, and then when you take away the toxins, which are the negative energies, the negative emotions, you will just start to be as you were designed, which is the best of you. And then when we say human potential because infinite with our ecosystem approach, that's it.
I have a great story about that.
Okay.
It's real fast.
Yeah, please.
When I very first met Jason, I knew nothing about the Enneagram. And I mean, I've always known that I'm an emotional person because, well, I am. Well, come to find out, that's my Enneagram type. And of course, I didn't want to be that, but I am. And so it took me a little while, but through the clearing, I realized that I'm an emotional person for a reason. And the reason is so I can help other people with their emotions. In other words, I can see them in a heartbeat or less than, actually. And therefore, because of the clearing, I have realized my emotions aren't bad. They're actually tools for me to use to help other people. Does that make sense, Jason?
It's perfect sense. So that's, you named one of our quick starts.
Okay,
so
I did. I know that.
If you have no idea what to do, if you have no idea where to get started,
okay.
One of the quick starts is to know your Enneagram type.
Yeah.
Now, we've done a whole series on the Enneagram.
Right.
And we use it as a tool. And once you know your Enneagram type, you can just infer from that things to clear. For example, sixes are always have fear and they lack security about themselves. That's where you start. You know, fours are emotional.
Are emotional.
And take things personally and
exactly.
have too much drama in their life. Just clear drama.
And also taking things personally, but also that my feelings always tell me the truth.
Exactly.
That's a big one. By the way, that is one of my go-tos. If I'm having a bad day, I clear my feelings always tell me the truth because they don't.
So quick starts.
Okay.
Know your Enneagram type.
Okay.
You know, you can always, and this is the basic. If you have no idea what to clear,
right?
Clear numbness, clear veils and illusions, so you can see. And we're going to do that in the next segment.
Right.
So just stay tuned. But the other thing is, and I said it earlier. You know, if you just sign up for our weekly clearing list, you know, that'll get you started. And you can. This is free. All you do is listen every week.
Yeah.
Do our weekly clearings. You know, we had a client tell us the other day, you were telling me about that, where she uses our clearing list, and even if she can't listen, she uses the clearing list and does clearing.
Yeah, and she gets that on the newsletter every week. She does that, and it's really amazing. She says that there are times where she works in a until COVID. She was working in a very high stress job. Now she gets to work from home. It's not quite as stressful, but she says, especially having her kids around all the time, she says one of the things she does is she downloads our show and then she also gets the newsletter, and she uses those things. She says, sometimes just to hear your voice, Patricia, makes me know that I'm going to be okay.
You know, people associate our voice with those things because when we clear, we make it better. Yes. And then they associate making it better with us when it's really not us.
At all.
It's not us at all. It's the ecosystem approach and taking away those negative energies.
Exactly.
You know, we had one client who said she put it on her homepage.
Yeah.
On her phone so that she could it's just always there and she's always clearing. If she has a second or two, she clears to herself.
Exactly, which is great. So, okay, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Always start clearing in the present moment. Determine the emotions that are attached. You can always start with numbness and veils and illusions to see what comes up.
Okay.
You know, start with your emotional story and or your Enneagram type, and that should give you plenty to clear. And the ecosystem approach teaches you how to learn about yourself, and that it's easy and to go from there.
And the other thing is it's actually fun.
Yes.
Because most people, we're not taught that it's okay to learn about ourselves.
We're not taught to have our feelings. We're just taught to ignore them and keep going.
Exactly.
But so here's how to clear. Let's talk about how to clear.
So Jason, why don't you tell everyone how to clear?
You can sit, you can stand. Your posture is not important. You don't have to get in the lotus position, any of that.
But you can.
You can. And as we say, we go through the statement and then we say to eliminate. Just gather up what we say to eliminate. And it could be an emotion. It could be barriers. It could be veils and illusions. It could be numbness. Just gather that up in your body and blow it into what we call the processor. Now, the processor is what takes negative emotions and processes it and makes it into neutral. If you want a picture of it, go to our website, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. But if you don't know what the processor looks like, use a trash can. And if you don't have a trash can where you are right now, let's say you're driving, use your imagination and blow it into an imaginary trash can.
Or if you're really angry, throw it at the guy in the car next to you. What?
No.
I didn't say that.
No, we don't do that. But
we really don't do that.
But we put it in the trash can. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then after we do that, then we're going to do life force energy. And life force energy is the most positive energy that anyone has access to. And what we're going to do is we're going to call upon it, and we're going to ask it to come in through the top of our head, go all the way down our torso and our arms, and then all the way down our legs to the tips of our toes. We're going to stop it right there. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to ask that most positive energy to help us remove even more negative energy. And how we do that is we're breathing, and we just blow it out into the garbage can or the processor. So, Jason, anything else on that? Are we getting ready for the next one? Okay, here we go, everyone. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to get you started clearing so you can understand what to clear when you have struggles, and do some clearings. So if you have any difficulties now, they can be what? Better. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Do you drive yourself crazy trying to make important decisions? And when you finally do, then you start second-guessing yourself. Would you like to know why you do this and how to change it? You can. When you take time to go inward, you'll find a wisdom that resides in the body. Begin by quieting your mind and sending your awareness into your body. Notice where there may be a discomfort. Ask it what it wants you to know. Listen carefully. It will reveal what it is about making this decision which holds you back. You can keep asking for information until you reach the deep core value of what keeps you from comfortably making a decision and sticking with it. Awareness is the first step toward making change. I'm Carrie Kadombi, and I'd love for you to join me on Transformation Talk Radio for my show, A Spirited Exchange. For more information about me, visit my website, thedivineguidancegift.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
If you struggle with fear and anxiety, you know how powerless and stuck these emotions can make you feel. You've tried everything, but nothing helped you overcome these blocks. Dr. Friedman Schaub, award-winning author of The Fear and Anxiety Solution, created a special program which helped thousands of his clients to become healthy, happy, and confident again. Learn how to eliminate negative self-talk, let go of your emotional baggage, and replace limiting beliefs. With Dr. Friedman's accelerated program, you can break through your challenges. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com.
Are you meeting your sales goals? Or maybe your business plan could use a dose of the divine. Tune in to Divinely Driven Results with faith-based business coach Elise Smith on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Coach Elise Smith helps listeners get unstuck from their business plateau and become empowered through divine guidance. Build up belief in yourself and your dreams, and learn business strategies that work for you for real lasting results. Learn more by visiting www.divinelydrivenresults.com.
The Truth is Funny. Shift Happens with Colette Marie Steffen is excited to welcome Karen Benton as a monthly guest host. Tune in on the third Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to regain confidence and trust in your capacity to create change in your life, your health, your family, and your well-being. Karen Benton is a mother, nurse practitioner, certified body talk practitioner, Franklin Method instructor, and owner of Limitless Living LLC. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBenton.com.
This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to get you started clearing so you can understand what to clear when you have struggles, and some clearing so if you're having difficulties now, those difficulties can be better. Jason, you ready to go?
Here we go.
All right.
I direct all my resources and all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see the emotions I'm struggling with right now. So gather up those emotions, gather up those veils and illusions, and blow them into the trash can or that processor, whichever it is.
And we're going to shorten it just a little bit. And to eliminate the anger, hate, rage, and bitterness that is always present with most difficulties. Take a breath. Pull all that negative energy of anger, hate, rage, and bitterness out of your body and blow it into the trash can or the processor. And if you're really good, you can blow it into both of them.
And to eliminate the fears, anxieties, and guilt that is always present with most difficulties. Take a breath, gather up those fears, anxieties, and guilt, blow it into the trash can. Now, those last two clearing statements, that gives you 60% of what you could ever want anyways.
In any clearings.
Now, it's nice to make it more specific sometimes.
Sure.
So that I'm afraid of blah, 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 blah. So you know exactly what you're afraid of. And that makes it even more specific. It makes it more effective. But
okay.
If you just clear fear in general, that's good too.
Exactly. So, and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see my struggles related to my emotional story. Take a breath. And to eliminate all the resistance and training and programming that I have to actually see and understand my emotional story. Take a breath. Blow it out.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can start clearing when I have struggles and difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can remember to remove the numbness when I don't know what to clear. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the false belief that there is no emotion attached to my struggle or difficulty. Take a breath.
Take a breath. And the only reason I was laughing, I wasn't laughing at anyone. I was laughing at the false belief, that there is no emotion, because there's always emotion, whether people realize it or not. Everyone has emotions. Some of them act like they've got them covered up. With that said, and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see clearing constantly, consistently, and specifically will help me. Take a breath. And it will help me know what to clear in the future. Take a breath.
And to eliminate my difficulty believing that my struggles will be better by changing the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath. I can hear a guy out there saying, well, if my tire's flat, just fix the damn tire and then I'm fine. But it doesn't work that way. You have to clear your emotions about getting a flat tire first, and then you can deal with it in a much better way.
Exactly. And the truth is, having a flat tire is really irritating. So clear the irritation, and believe it or not, fixing the tire then won't be as much of a struggle. It's that simple, that you have to start doing the clearing to actually get that part. So, Jason?
Perfect, yes.
Yeah.
And to eliminate my compulsion to trust programming methods versus changing the energy first.
Nice.
Take a breath.
And to eliminate my compulsion to push and drive myself during difficulties versus taking a breath and clearing. By the way, this is one of my big ones right here. Take a breath and blow it out. This might be the best one of all, Jason. I love this one because it's so right there.
Okay. And to eliminate seeing myself as a machine that would rather ignore difficulties. Take a breath.
Take a breath. And I need to say this, and to eliminate the false belief that says it's easier to be angry when when I'm having difficulties than it is to do clearing, when the exact opposite is the truth. Take a breath. Are we ready for life force? Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force energy for all that I need, want, desire, and deserve. Take a nice, easy breath. Pull that life force energy in through the top of your head. Remember, it's clean. Pull it in. Let it go all the way down your torso and your arms, and then down your legs to the tips of your toes. Turn it around. Use that life force energy to help you remove negative energies that are left over. Blow it out.
And to activate life force so I can trust that clearing my negative energies will help me overcome struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath.
And to activate life force so I can have the determination to focus on the energies in my way and clear them. Take a breath. And to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy, have laughter and fun and joy, and really love not only myself, but learn to love my life from a different perspective than I have ever had before. Nice and easy. Pull in life force energy through the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Any negative energy left over, blow it out. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
You know, I was struggling with this, and you and I have been talking about it back and forth, but we've named it truth, what it is and how do you know. And the reason I'm working with this is because I wanted to do something that was appropriate for the political season. Everybody's trying to vote and choose their candidate and all those things.
Okay.
And I was trying to do it in one way that it wouldn't turn out to be a rant. You know, I don't want to do those, you know. And,
so in other words, everyone, I won't be on the show next week.
You know, but during this political season, everyone's trying to determine what is true, what is real, and which way to go. And
how do you do that, Jason?
You know, the ecosystem approach.
Yeah.
You know, this is the age of conspiracy theories and just out and out lies. And how do you know what to trust?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I see it framed on the media a lot. And I'm not one of those people that says, "Oh, you can't trust the media at all." But I know everybody spins information in a way that is
we all do
it.
Absolutely.
And so, how do you cut through to see what's really true and what isn't, especially when it comes to you?
Yeah.
And here's what we're going to talk about next week. You know, human beings have a natural ability to know truth and to direct themselves in a way that's good and positive for each of you individually. And no, this isn't from science. You know, so it's not like it's black and white, like this is true and this is unproven, this is right and this is wrong. It's much more nuanced than that. And so if you're going to be part of the political season, you're going to want to listen to the show. This is really a fascinating talk about truth.
Okay. So, Jason, how can I and the people in the audience get more information and real support for the ecosystem approach?
You know, I know there's someone out there right now who's saying, yeah, there's this place inside me that's been knowing that there's something more and I want it for myself.
Would you say they're feeling empty?
Empty. And we've set it up so you can try out the ecosystem approach for free. All you have to do is listen every week, do the clearings in our fourth segment, do those clearings with us, and then go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all rambled together, theecosystemapproach.org. and sign up for our free subscription service. Sign up for our free class on COVID. You'll get the make sure the newsletter box is checked, which gives you the weekly clearings, things to clear, and it's all free. Well, we're not asking anything from you, just to be part of this group.
Well, don't you put something in there about the backstory? Don't you give little stories about you and I?
Usually,
he tries to tell things about me. Everybody,
I have so much fun with that, but I'm the one that usually writes the newsletter, and we tell the backstory that has something to do with the topic for the at the time. So
okay, all right, and Jason, what about Facebook?
We have a Facebook page, the ecosystemapproach.org. If you liked us today, please go there and like us, and give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. My personal story, my emotional story is that I never got enough likes when I was a child. So
he does whine about it every now and then, everybody. So
please help me.
Help me, everybody, and like him. Yes, definitely.
So go. Yeah, it's the ecosystemapproach.org on Facebook.
Okay, and just so everyone knows, we'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.